Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is David, this is David K Reacts, and today I am bringing a new group onto the channel, and it is one I've been very excited to look into for quite some time now, and that is the Bass Gang. It will be no surprise to anybody at all who has watched my videos that I am a lover of bass voices, and so this sounds like it's going to be a very, very interesting group for me to look into. Firstly, I must though apologise for the sound quality. Unfortunately, I have had to return the microphone that I was using up until this point, and so I'm back to using this guy right now. The good news is, however, that as I mentioned in my last video, the microphone that I had up on my Buy Me a Coffee page wish list has funded, and I believe that the funds came through this morning, so I'll be putting an order in for that microphone, and then hopefully I will be sorted from that perspective once that arrives. Hooked on a Feeling, which is the song that I'm going to be covering today, is a very, very sort of iconic piece of music, especially now that Guardians of the Galaxy kind of brought it back into the public eye. It was originally released in 1968 by B.J. Thomas, and it was essentially a song about the euphoria of falling in love. What's sort of fascinating to me about this song in particular is it's gone through a couple of iterations, and it's relatively subtle if you're not paying attention. It's not like there's any major changes, but slowly the drug references in it have been moved away. Of course, the 60s, it was a time of fairly free drug use, and so there are sort of references to it in the original song. Specifically, there is a lyric at one point in time where BJ sings about being addicted to the person he's falling in love with. It's hard to stay addicted, is one of the lines, and that's kind of very typical of its time. And that was actually used by one of the first covers of the song by Jonathan King in 1971, but in the same year the Twinkle Brothers released their cover, and they had Hard to Say You Dig Me as a replacement, and the Blue Swede, is it Blue Swede or Blue Suede? I just realised I've always heard people say Blue Suede, but it's spelt Blue Swede, and I don't know the answer to that. Let me know. They covered it in 1974, and that's the version likely we all know. They actually sing Hard to Stay a Victim, so it's kind of shifted away from the drug use suggestion that was there originally. There's more changes, of course. What's so fascinating about this one is the version we all know is the cover of a cover, because the version that I'm going to say Blue Swede, because that's what I'm looking at. Is it Blue Suede? They're a Swedish band. I would think it was Blue Swede. Their version is actually a cover. It's hard to say. Is it more of a cover of the Twinkle Brothers or of Jonathan King? They both kind of did similar things. I think Jonathan King came first, so I guess it's a cover of his version. And there's changes like the very famous "Ah" was not in the original. B.J. Thomas just sang "Ah, hooked on a feeling," and so there are definite changes there that were made from the original. I think the original, if I remember correctly, was also a little slower, a bit more laid back. So it's a different character to the song compared to what we are used to. So I'll be interested. I'm assuming the Bass Gang is going to cover the version we all know, and I don't know. We'll see. The Bass Gang. Now, normally I don't cover groups with guests for the first time. I like to cover them just as they are, but I just really felt like covering this song, to be honest. And the guest in this is Tim Foust, who I'm familiar with, so it's not exactly like I'm reacting to a new group with a new artist as well. Tim is a familiar face to me. Also, one of the group, Peter Barber, I've watched several of his reactions to videos I have reacted to. I quite enjoy, once I've got my video out, watching other folks' reactions to it and seeing, what did I miss or what did other people focus on instead. And of course, Peter has a lot of singing technique that I don't, and so there's things I gain from videos from people like him and Jennifer Glatzova that I wouldn't pick up myself, and the charismatic voice as well, and many others. But it's kind of cool to see Peter doing his thing in a group, so I'm looking forward to that. The other three I don't think I'm aware of up to this point. Bobby Bass, Tommy P, and I've got this up. I don't normally bring that up that early. That's weird. And Marwan, what's his surname? Marwan Amen. So I'm very excited to see what these folks do together with a very, very cool song. Just before we get into that, though, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are a first-timer here. The way this works, I'm going to watch the video straight through from beginning to end. I will emote and commentate over the top of it, but I'm not going to stop it at any point. I will then go back, watch it again from the beginning, and this time I will interrupt, pause, and offer what observations and analysis I feel I can, based on whatever I'm seeing and hearing. Please do like the channel. Subscribe if you would like to. It doesn't cost you a thing. It does a world of good for me and for the channel. If you would like to hit the notification bell and be notified each time one of my videos comes out, go for it. I do aim for 5 PM EST on Fridays, but hit and miss as to whether I make that recently. And if you would like to, please head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can support the channel, and I would be very appreciative of that. One last comment. I know a lot of people have, there's a couple of recent videos folks have been asking me to react to. I will be getting to those, I promise. It's been a couple of really busy weeks at work, and I haven't had as much time as I would like, because I have a couple of slightly longer videos planned. I know, crazy for me. But I am getting to those. I've just had this one up in the lineup to do a little earlier, and then I will be coming around to those in the next week or two. I know I'm a little bit behind the curve, but that's just one of the side effects of being me. Anyway, without any further delay, let's get into the Bass Gang, covering, well, I guess originally BJ Thomas's Hooked on a Feeling. Doop. Nope. There we go. Oh, the depth in the voices. Oh, wow.
Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me.
It's a totally different timbre down there. Wow.
Everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing.
Oh, this is fantastic. Oh, that's fun. Oh, nice. Okay, blue speed version. Ooh. What is this? Whoa! That was a lot. I love the choreo. Oh, that was so good.
Keep it up, girl. Yeah, you turn me on.
Oh, yes, thank you, Tim. Oh, whoa, that was oh, wow. I love what they're doing with this. Oh. That's so cool. I love this. Oh. That's such a cool movement. Anyway, we're going to come back to all this. That is so much fun. Wow, those guys are talented. What an extraordinary sound. That we're going to go back over this, but how often do you hear a group of basses all singing bass? It's really not a particularly common sound, and the timbre is so deep and earthy. That's extraordinary. This is my jam. I absolutely love this kind of the sound production that's going on here, the variety, the height that they can reach, especially when you hear everybody start down low. I often talk about how good it is that, for example, in the Jeff Castellucci High and Dry cover that I looked at recently, he starts out right in the middle of his range and then, ping-pongs between the top and the bottom. And I usually like that, where it starts off not at an extreme. With this group, the choice of starting at the extreme makes complete sense. And they then shock you, because they're called the bass gang, of course you expect bass voices. And they then shock you by, rocketing off into outer space in terms of how high they go, and then come right back down and go, oh, this is great. What a talented bunch of people. That's really cool. Also, I'm looking forward to getting to Madwell at some point as well. One thing I was going to mention before, and I realized I didn't, the Uga Chaka chant at the beginning also was not in the BJ Thomas version. That's something that was actually added in both Jonathan King and Twinkle Brothers. I think, obviously, if Jonathan King came first, then presumably he started it. There's a lot of belief that it came from a song called Running Bear, and he denies that. He says he wanted a reggae beat to be in the song, but he wanted different instrumentation and settled on male voices, which also makes it extremely apt for this group to cover, because it's exactly what he meant by putting this in the first place. It remains to be seen if that was I'm sure he was potentially inspired a little bit by Running Bear. But yeah, other thing that was quite I discovered about this while I was just poking around to clarify the names of the folks who'd done the covers, because I'd heard all of those other versions as well. Blue Swede, when it actually came to it hitting number 1 on the Billboard 100, which it did better than BJ Thomas's version, which I think got to 5 or 6, I think. It was either the same week or the same month that ABBA won the Eurovision Song Contest. So it was a very, very good point in time for Swedish music. Anyway, let's go back to the beginning of this and work it through and listen to this gloriousness, because wow, I think this is going to hit harder the second time, because I was kind of so fascinated with what was going on. I wasn't really clocking the plummeting depths and that sort of thing, except where they were really, really highlighted. But wow. This is just... I love hearing singers that have such versatility. This is fantastic. My traditional 4 seconds. I made it an extra second this time. Stop in the beginning of the song. But what a fun beginning to this. Actually having these silhouettes and inverse silhouettes. Is it 2 people facing each other, or is it a candlestick? Sorry. But I like the fact that also we're introducing the group, even though we're not seeing them straight away, and I couldn't identify... I think it's Marwan on the left and Bobby on the right, which I'm saying purely based on hairstyles. But we're not seeing the people, but at the same time we are being introduced to the group in some way. And the Uga Chaka, while it's a fun chant to begin the song off, and it sort of establishes a bit of a beat, it's not the song, and so it doesn't matter that we haven't met the artists yet. And I think that's a really nice corollary to what we're seeing on screen. We haven't quite met the artists yet, but we're still getting them laying out the groundwork.
I can't stop this feeling.
And then again, great here, we still have the Uga Chaka going on, and we still see the faces in the background. And it's really interesting, because even though it's just very, very clearly these 5 green screened against that somehow it still feels there's a kind of 3D-ness about the heads being behind. I'm not sure I'm explaining that terribly well, but there's something in what I'm seeing. It's a little bit of a trick of the light, almost. That there's a little bit more relief to it than there actually probably is. It's kind of cool.
I can't stop this feeling.
That's such a good choice too. We're starting. That's an open fifth, right? I can't stop. No one's here until the ing of feeling, I think.
I can't stop this feeling.
Yeah, it's just completely open, and even then, we're keeping on the melody line. I can't stop this feeling. The note that's being held on is still that fifth, so the focus is on the fifth. We've got the tonic in there just to establish the tonality, and that harmony third that fills that gap in barely touches this opening sequence. This is what you'd call a power chord on an electric guitar. It's that just kind of blast of establishing key without really going much further into what the song's doing. It's just that open fifth, and it's a really, because it does, even the song itself. We don't get harmony straight in when they start singing. We just get that powerful, I can't stop this feeling. And they've kind of paid homage to that while also adding a little harmony in, but only a touch. And it's just an establishing harmony at this point. It doesn't really go anywhere. That's a really cool start. Also, my goodness, the depth. What a wonderful place to start.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me.
Also, there's a really nice decision they've made here. While it is, I can't stop this feeling, everyone else is feeling. Everyone just drops straight out. But then deep inside of me, then we hold it on. We've kind of got this nice establishment of two different styles of how we're going to treat the end of a phrase. And it's just really nice because it gives us a little bit of audio interest. It's one little. I mean, obviously, that's not to say we're not interested if it's not there, but it gives one extra thing for the ear to hear and pick up on. And it's nice this early in the song just to drop little things like that because it's not a significant difference, but it just allows for a different texture at the end of each of these two phrases. It's a really nice way to start the song off, and I love the fact that the deep inside of me, you have that chord change on me. And again, it's just giving us a little bit. We're starting already 12 seconds into this piece. We're starting to just tease out a little bit of individuality in this arrangement, quite apart from the fact that it's 5 bass singers in the bottom of their boots. It's just giving us something slightly different. Also, I apologize. I think that's, if I remember my names right, that's Tommy. I'm very sorry for freezing you on that particular expression.
Deep inside of me, girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me.
Oh, that's so nice. What they're doing there is so great. I want to break that down in 2 sections.
You do to me, girl, you just don't realize.
So that's nice. You've got the girl, you just don't realize. But if you listen to the bass, that's a redundant qualification in this particular song. If you listen to the bottom line of what is being sung right now, it's girl, you just realize the bass, the bottom note down, no, my subs aren't awake yet. It's down on that same note. Girl, you just don't realize. So we're on the third down there. It gives it this slightly unfinished quality leading into the next line.
Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me.
And then you have that lovely, lovely preparation into the cadence to come back for the 5-1 back into our prime key for this. But I love that we do that. We drop down into unison and then split out into harmony. This kind of accordion effect they have going on at different parts of this song, where they come together all onto one note or a couple of notes and then spread right back out again. It is a really interesting use, especially when the texture at this moment is so tight together. We don't have a wide frequency range being covered here. Frequency range, I've mentioned it before, but if you haven't seen one of the videos where I did, it's how wide a sound you have. A female voice has a very high frequency range, a male voice has a very low one. Obviously you have all of the steps in between, but if you have a soprano, alto, tenor, bass, you have quite a wide frequency range compared to bass, 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 where it's very, very tight together. And they're manipulating that slightly by crunching it together and making it even tighter and then spreading it back out again. It's really, really smart writing in this arrangement.
Do to me when you hold me in your arms so tight.
This is great too. We come from this all the way down there and break back out again into an octave up. We just leap up there, and now all of a sudden we're coming in on these higher registers, and it's just immediately, I love that we get this sudden kind of shock factor almost of, oh wow, there's a lot more going on here. We're hearing a lot more vocally than we just did, and it's kind of the promise of what's to come. It's great.
When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright. I'm
Woohoo!
gonna feel it.
Oh, that's so good. There's so much good stuff happening here. I love this. Let's just jump back to this.
You let me know.
Oops.
Me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright.
So smart here. You've got this very gentle do 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 do. You can just see it, particularly here with this is Bobby, right, on the right of the screen. You can just see his mouth in particular. Do, 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 do. It's a very subtle movement, but it's just renewing that bass note over and over again with the lightest of consonants. It's not a do 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 do. It's not really even a consonant. It's a flick of the tongue inside the mouth just to refresh the note, and it's just giving us a slight pulse, and it's the gentlest of pulses, and it's such a cool sound. I wasn't sure I was hearing it the first time through, and watching it back now and actually seeing his mouth moving, I'm catching that it's there, and you almost don't hear it. And I love those moments in music where you do have that, is that what I think it is? Am I hearing what I think I am? And they're doing it there so well, because it increases the motion of what's going on here without distracting in any way from what Tim is actually doing. I also love the breadth that we have in the harmony behind.
You let me know.
Someone's all the way up there, and yet at the same time we're going, like, it's wow. 5 basses and the amount of space on a keyboard, for want of a better description, that they're covering is extraordinary.
Everything's alright.
Oh,
Alright.
who was that? Do do in the middle of that. That's really interesting.
Everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feel.
That's a really interesting thing. It's just a tiny, tiny little bit of extra instrumentation, for want of a better word, just very subtly in the back there, and that's really cool. Again, very, very slight. I don't know why my ear decided to focus on it that particular time. But it's something very, very slightly different. I don't know if any of the originals does that. I'm going to have to go back and listen and find out. But this, of course, is one of the most iconic moments of this entire song. Again, ironically, not from the original. But that sound is so ingrained in my mind in particular. I mean, I knew this song before Guardians of the Galaxy, but I've listened to it a lot more as a result. Everything on the Awesome Mixtapes has kind of re-entered my musical vocabulary. And it's just, I love that moment. It's such a cool bridge between the verse and the chorus in this song. But this is fascinating. And wow, you just hear it goes into this growl at the end of it that you don't really hear. But again, this is something that's quite interesting, is we're not necessarily getting trying to think how to say this right. We're not necessarily getting the clarity of the vocal texture because of the depth that everybody is at. What we're getting instead is we're getting the effect. You feel some of this more than you hear it, which is sometimes true of low growls and even subs, depending on who's singing them. You sometimes feel them more than you hear them, and we're getting a little bit of that here, more because they're being clustered around by other voices that are in a similar pitch, which so far on anything else on this channel, if somebody's down that low, they're there on their own.
On a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love.
I was just trying to study there because, of course, we've got them all singing the words at one point. Is this Marwan that's beatboxing? It looks in this shot.
High on believing.
No, it looks like he's doing he's sort of playing the cowbell. I can't quite see. Oh, is it Peter? Is everybody beatboxing a little bit? I can't quite tell what's going on here. I may establish that by the end of the video, but if I don't, please let me know. Is it one of these things where everybody does everything? Or is there somebody specific who is actually providing that beatbox? Very cool. Whoever it's doing, it's really, really slick. But yeah, I'm still familiarizing myself with the group. And sorry, I got a bit of a scratchy throat again. It's going to be the year of David having a bad throat, apparently. So apologies if I keep clearing my throat slightly. I did actually have coffee with me today, so that might help. Pardon me.
I'm hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing.
Wow, breathed in the last drip of coffee. The scope of the sound they're producing here is extraordinary because the voices are so widely spread apart. The fact that a lot of people have gone up now, because we've heard a lot of bass and we're used to hearing the bass sound so far in this song, it actually widens it almost more than they have done because our ears are hearing something so different. And then there's this real array of percussion going on underneath, and it's a surprisingly thick sound for 5 people, which also makes me wonder if more than one person is beatboxing, because it's almost like there's different timbres going on there, which I'm perfectly aware one beatboxer can create, but there's something about this that just makes it feel like there's at least 2 people doing it. I may or may not be correct about that. Regardless, the sound that's coming out of this is amazing, really good. I love these shots, these sort of mirror shots they've got going. And it's not mirrored. You can see here, everybody's got a different expression on each version of themselves. But this effect of, it's like you're looking at this video through a kaleidoscope, right? And it's kind of swirling around. It's a very, very cool, very cool effect. And just provides a lot of visual interest into it's this is a one camera shot video, by which I mean, there's no movement in the camera. It's not panning, it's not zooming, it's not dollying around. It's staying very static, and so they've created a lot of visual interest in terms of what they're doing with this, which is really cool. Even as I say that, there's a little bit of zooming going on, but you know what I mean. Like, there's not the kind of You get this, sort of think about some of the other videos we've seen where it's like constant movement, different camera angles. We're not getting any of that, is what I was trying to say. I also like that we every now and then we cut to the bass gang and sort of take Tim out for a moment, and we just have a second of, this is the group, and this is, here's the guy that they're supporting in this particular video. I like this blend that they've got. They've kind of struck a really nice balance of what they're showing in their visuals. That is so good. I love that. This huge height they go up to here. Is that, I'm assuming by the motions, that's Peter who's way up there at this point. And I love also that we have this sharp. I'm not going anywhere near that high. That's going to be terrible. These two very, very sharp, short notes, and then power down into this. And I love the expression too. The kind of it's almost like a challenge, isn't it? The graphic. Oh my goodness, the use of the graphic. Like, have we even changed the visual in this? It's just kind of this pink, other than at the beginning, of course. It's this pink the whole way through, and then for this astonishing note from Tim, we get this earthquake graphic. It's so good. That's a fantastic sense of humor right there. Anyway, moving on to, I just want to hear this as a transition, but I think I'm done with that, other than just enjoying hearing it again. Lips as sweet as candy. That's so cool, because what on earth was that? That was not the melody at all. I love that they broke away from that, and then this little it's just nice. This is them being them. This is where, and I talk about this a lot with these groups, where it's like they have their moments of being, this is us singing the original, covering the original, and then they have moments of, this is us making this song our own as well. And the balance that everybody seems to be striking really well, which is a sign of the professionalism of everybody involved, including the arrangers. Who did arrange this, by the way? I realised I didn't cover that. Let's just hop back. Arranged by Tommy. Okay, mixing by Ed Boyer. That makes sense. Mastering is credited here. Oops. Hang on one second. Let me just... I'm recording this for once very early in the morning, but it does mean that a couple of folks who've come to work already, there's those notifications. So mastering here by Dave Sperandio. Mastering is a totally different process from mixing, incidentally. Mixing is simply balancing the audio and making sure that it's all in the right place, that kind of thing. Mastering is then taking that final audio and making small tweaks to it. It's such subtle work. I don't even 100% know really what goes into it. It's something I am not particularly skilled at. I can take a piece of final audio and just add a little bit of EQ and make it sound just a touch better, but the skill that true masterers have that they can do to audio is astonishing. Video editing by Nicole Waters and Marwan. Okay, storyboard Nicole Waters, and management Casper Fox. Is Nicole related to the band in some way? I'm not. That's not a surname of one of the bands, so I don't know if it's a partner or something like that, or if she's just somebody completely different. Always curious, just when folks get really involved with it. I'm sort of seen a lot of things recently, especially with Jeff and Kathy Castellucci, where partners and family and what have you get involved with things. So maybe it's not that, but always curious. Anyway. Tommy has done fantastic work on the arranging into this. Is he the regular arranger for the group? I don't know. I haven't looked at descriptions of their other videos, so I have no idea. But his work on this is stellar. Lips as sweet as candy. Taste is on my mind. Girl, you got me And that's so nice. That backing, the taste is on my mind, that the group is singing, kind of references what their little riff that they just did, while Tim is now back into the original melody. And that's what's so fascinating to me about that riff too. I've thrown myself off my train of thought now by breaking away to look at the description, but in case I didn't say it before, the melody isn't there. They just take the melody out for a minute and do their own thing for a second, which is really cool. It's quite a brave choice, and they pulled it off and it worked.
Lips as sweet as candy. Taste is on my mind. Girl, you got me thirsty for another cup of wine.
Woohoo! Hello, Subharmonics. I love all the subs in this. This is great. What's also nice is now that we've gone into this second verse, now all of a sudden we're getting a lot more background changes. It's a subtle thing, but I just realized it. I hadn't clocked it before. Like we had, if I go back, we have the palm trees in the background here, still with the pink. So this was a bit more of a sort of abrupt shift. But oddly enough, coming back out of the earthquakes on Tim, it almost didn't seem as abrupt because that was so sharp and so different. And now we've got this kind of color-changing background. I love the bottle of wine pouring. That's fantastic. The use, this sort of... the balance that they're striking between solo and group here is really interesting as well. It's very different to what they had in the first verse. And I really like that they're changing up as they go through. This evolution in music is such an important thing, and they're doing a really good job of it here.
For another cup of wine. Got a bug from you, girl.
That was... Did I say Marwan a minute ago? That was Bobby. I think I just said Marwan. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I'm just tricking myself in my own head. Regardless. Bobby with wine. Maybe I'm losing the plot. Wouldn't surprise me. Oh, I just realized there's an ombre shift kind of... Is that happening all the time? Oh, that's really cool. The colors... Oh, other way. Shifting across the screen. That's nice too. I like the fact that here... Oop. These two are both fairly high, and you can still hear a little bit of stuff going on in the background, but then I think it's Bobby. I'm guessing at that. I'm not 100% sure. But when we split to the next couple, you hear an octave down being sung as well. Was that just... Maybe that was just twos and twos. But I like that we have that shift there. It just, you kind of da 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 da. It does that thing I always talk about, where you kind of start here with everybody on the same level, and then boom, you suddenly open it up, and it's just a really nice touch between those two lines. I like that.
I'll just stay a victim if I can.
They've used that again. I just stay a victim. That's not the melody at all, but they've done that thing where they keep one person singing on, and I really like this. It just kind of features those words a little bit and gives a slightly different auditory texture. It's a really nice choice.
I'll just stay a victim if I can for sure.
Nice key change there too. I like that little shift. Oh, 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 oh.
If I can for sure.
Because they've already got that upward motion. Oh, oh. Wow, that key change is throwing me off.
If I can for sure.
Oh, oh, oh. They're already heading up. Oh, and it's a natural progression to just keep lifting a little bit. It's when I find when key changes get more jarring is when you, instead of having a da 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 and go up at the end, you have like da 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 da, and you suddenly shift. That was a semitone, which is more jarring anyway. But you suddenly shift up, having been traveling down. They go up, having been traveling up, and it's just you kind of everything comes up with them, and it's just such an easy key change. Oh, these bell chords in the background are beautiful. And the range these singers have. Like, I already know Tim's range is big. But just everybody here suddenly way up compared to where they've just been. This is beautiful. And what a soundscape. This is an astonishing choice here. This very ethereal... You know, you've kind of gone into the realms of... I want to say Owl City, that's not who I'm thinking of, but there's somebody in that vein, where it's this very ethereal, high kind of chimes and string pads and things like that. You've kind of gone into that realm, vocally speaking. And it's just this lovely, kind of airy, slightly romantic, slightly mystical, you know, sort of quality that's going on here. And it's so different to what they've just been singing. They keep shifting, and yet nothing is out of place. It's fantastic.
And we're all alone, keep it up, girl. Yeah, you turn me on.
And then what was that? That's really hard to do.
You turn me on. I'm hooked on.
I have no idea how that was even broken up. Is it the person who's currently on screen? Let's just freeze this for a second. Like, is this note being sung by Bobby, for example? Or I can't even quite, my ears can't quite process what's going on here. It's just really cool.
It up, girl. Yeah, you turn me on. I'm hooked on a
That's awesome. And then I love that doof, doof. We just, the two hits, just the slight punch in on Tim and then back out. This is really cool. And now the harmony is way up. And it's kind of similar, but it's also not quite. They've changed the chords slightly, and I really, really like that too. It's, this has been, I just caught the hearts in the background. That's awesome. Yeah, my voice really doesn't like me today. My apologies. Yeah, that background is so much fun. I really like that.
hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing that you're in love with me.
One, beautiful. But I also really, really like what they're doing with this high harmony. Because we've now got... Also, it's hilarious. It's the bass gang, and yet they're entirely well, no, there's one line underneath. But they're almost exclusively harmonizing above the soloist. Which, it's fun to have them defy expectations, but it's also really cool just having that shift in the song. We've now got a very, very different timbre, having everybody up top. It creates a different sound for the ears. It also allows them to come back down again. It gives them a lot of space. Like, they're using so much space in this song.
That you're in love with me.
Wow, that bass. I like the fact that they're also acknowledging. My goodness. They acknowledge with Tim being on screen there is an open, we're double tracking some of this. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just nice to be able to recognize it and clock it, and it says to the mind, yeah, you are hearing that person's voice twice. He is singing the solo and a bass line as well. And that's fine. Anyway, sorry, back on.
That you're in love with me.
That's interesting too, the bum 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 bum. The first or the second bass of those four notes is held on, and the other three are all very sharp and short. Just kind of gives it a little bit of, again, an auditory shift, but lets that richness down there sink in for a second, because we've just been up high for so long. You almost expect to get whiplash moving up and down so much, and yet the way this has been arranged, it's just not doing that. It's really, really cleverly done. Obviously, I can now see Marwan as beatboxing. Maybe that answered my question from earlier, but are there other people? I'm not sure. That is still a question mark for me. Oh. That is so good. This little passage here is amazing. Firstly, I love the sound that we've got going on here. There's so much breadth there. Someone's down low, someone's way up high, someone's right in the middle. We've really opened this up. And then we get this really cool little bass guitar riff coming in here from Tim. And I love this, so effective here. I think you're in love with me. We've just got this, like this heartbeat bass drum effect going on in the background. And then this lovely, we go to this love with me, this beautiful chord that we just sit on, the fade out, and then back in again. This is such a good sequence. Lovely. I love you're in love. There's something really nice about that. It's got that kind of that boy band riff. The sort of late 90s, early 2000s heartthrob boy bands. It's got that vibe about that little riff there. I really like it. So good for where we are in the song. I love the goofiness in this video too. Like these, the bottle of wine, these cute little, here's a rose. It's such a nice touch. While it is a serious song in many ways, it's also a humorous song. I think Guardians of the Galaxy's helped inject a little extra humor into it. And so it's nice that they're playing both of these. We have got this very serious singing and serious moments, and then this kind of goofiness as well.
All the good love when we're all alone. Keep it up, girl. Yeah, you turn me on.
Woo! So lovely there. We get this in unison, the whole thing in unison, and then you get just Tim. And I mean, Tim's in unison because he's singing by himself. So all of this section is one note. In the sense that everybody's singing the same note at the same time, not necessarily in the same pitch, but it reinforces this section a little bit, and it's a really, really nice way of doing it. I also love that you have this going on with Yuga Chaka in the background, but they don't feel the need to break back to that original. We don't have the silhouettes in the background anymore. We focus on, now we've got this black background with the pink hearts, where previously we had an even pinker background, and the hearts almost looked white. I don't know if they are different colors actually, or if that's just a trick of the eye seeing them against different colors. But this is really nice because it's very stark compared to what we were just dealing with. Also, if you were in any doubt that they were all filming at different times, I think this pretty much clinches it, because if you look at the reflections in each set of sunglasses, they're all different. They're not reflecting the same room.
Alone. Keep it up, girl. Yeah, you turn me on.
Oh, the Oh, one more time on that, just because it's gorgeous. Like, okay, that was too high, but I love that jump and the precision of it too. I don't know if that is Tim that does that down the bottom, or is that maybe somebody else filling in the sub so that he can then go back up. I couldn't quite tell there. Regardless, doesn't matter. The effect is great. And I love how we've now kind of gone into this crazy celebratory mode in the background as well. This is so much fun. The trumpet too. Peter with the this is so much fun. We've just kind of got into pure joy territory now, and that's a great way to end this song. Nice, I like that. That's a nice change. You're in love with me. That's very cool. Tommy just going straight for the bottle. This is great. Like, at this point in time, I don't have an awful lot to add because I've said so much and they're just having fun. This must have been such a laugh to shoot. What was that? This is great. What is happening? I don't know, but it's so much fun. Who was that? Anybody know who this is who's offering a rose to Tommy right now? Not somebody I recognize, so I'm guessing potentially someone associated, but I don't know. Yeah, let me know. Super cute, though. What did he do with the drumsticks? Did he have them in his ears? Yes, Tim! Peter getting... That ending is great. They're clearly having so much fun with that. Also, wow, Tim, that high note at the end was gorgeous. I don't know if I've heard him go that high before. That was stunning. I have never been a huge fan of fade-out endings. And I know this song has one. I don't like them, but what I do love is what they've done with it. And you know that this is kind of where you have the visual interest to keep it fun, but I always feel like there's something coming we don't get to hear because of the nature of the fade out. But oh, that is good. I really, really enjoyed that. That was a fantastic cover by extremely talented singers. My bass heart is very, very happy right now, but so is every other part of my musical love in terms of range and in terms of style. Like, what they did with this was just brilliant. Very, very much their own. It doesn't sound like another version, and yet at the same time it pays tribute to the versions that have come before. I love that. What a fantastic group. I'm really, really looking forward to hearing more of what they've done, but I'm also just really happy I heard this. Like, this is early in the morning for me. I had to wake up early today, and so I figured this was the right time to get a reaction done, and now I'm just happy, despite losing my voice. That was fantastic. That is a absolute tonic for the day. So thank you very much, Bass Gang, and that's much appreciated. That's going to be it from me for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I just enjoyed listening to and recording that. Sorry if I was a little subdued. It is just, it's apparently just my year for voice and throat things, so I'm sorry if I sounded a bit scratchy, or was a little bit not quite as energized as I usually am. But that was fantastic. I hope you still got something out of it and you enjoyed my reaction and analysis to this. Please do like the video, hit that subscribe button. It really, really helps the channel to have subscribers. And if you would like to, click on the notification bell and you can be notified when my videos are going live. And if you would really like to, do head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts, where you can donate to support the channel. I would be very grateful. Next video or two might be, unfortunately, akin to this with the headset mic, but as soon as I can, I'll be getting that new microphone set up and things will be good from there. Thanks again. I really appreciate you watching, especially if you're still here with me at the end of this video. I hope you have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, nighttime, whatever time of day it is you're listening to this. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.